The wind moved slowly across the frontier that evening, dragging long ribbons of dust across the dry earth as the sun dipped behind the red mesas. A lone rancher named Colton Hale rode his horse through the canyon pass, his hat pulled low, his eyes scanning the winding trail ahead with the instinct of a man who had lived too many years in lands that did not forgive mistakes. He wasn't searching for trouble. Trouble found him anyway. It always had. Colton had spent the last decade tending cattle and trying to escape the past that clawed at him. Men like him didn't look backward unless forced. The world behind him was full of ghosts. The world ahead, well, he didn't know yet. But the land was changing. Rumors whispered through the saloons of an Apache tribe unlike any other, of people touched by ancient spirits, of giants born from a forgotten people who lived deep in the uncharted canyons. Men laughed at such stories. Colton didn't. Not because he believed, but because he had seen enough strange things under the wide western sky to know that laughter was a poor shield. His horse slowed and snorted. Something ahead moved. Not a cougar. Not a wanderer. Something larger. Much larger. Colton's hand rested on the worn grip of his revolver. Then he saw her. A figure rose from the canyon floor like the shadow of a mountain taking shape. She was a girl. No, a young woman. Towering at least 12 feet tall. Her dark skin painted with swirling Apache markings that glowed faintly in the twilight. Her long black hair flowed down her back like a river of night, braided with feathers and beads that chimed softly as she stepped forward. Her eyes, deep and intense, locked onto Colton. They held no malice, only sorrow, a sorrow that weighed more than stone. Colton's horse nearly buckled. He steadied it and forced himself not to reach for the gun. The giant Apache girl raised a hand, her palm facing him, as if asking him not to fear. "You are Hale of the Western Plains," she said, her voice low and echoing like thunder rolling inside a cave. Colton swallowed. "I don't know who told you my name, but I reckon you've got the advantage here." She knelt to lower herself to his height, her face closer now, eyes reflecting the fading light. "My name is Taya, daughter of the ancient tribe, guardian of the Canyon of Seeds." "I've heard tales," Colton muttered, "but never thought I'd be looking at one." Taya didn't smile. "Our tribe is dying, Hale. The land is turning to dust. Our water's dry. Our spirits fade. We once held a seed, one seed, gifted by the Earth Mother. A seed meant to renew the land in times of great despair. But it was stolen. Without it, the canyon will die. And with it, my people." Colton didn't move. Something in her voice, quiet but powerful, pulled at a place in him he thought long buried. Taya looked at him with desperation mingled with dignity. "Plant the seed of hope in me," she said softly. "Help me save my people. Help me carry what I cannot." Colton didn't understand at first. "And what exactly do you expect a man like me to do?" Taya stood slowly, pointing to the far edge of the canyon where the shadows grew deeper. "The seed was taken by those who fear our strength. Outlaws who want the canyon dead so they can claim the lands for themselves. They hide in the stone labyrinth. None of my people can enter without the spirits sounding the alarm. But you walk unnoticed. And you want me to steal it back," Colton said. "Not steal," she corrected. "Restore. Return what was meant for all who walk this land." Colton wasn't a hero. He wasn't a savior. But something about Taya, the weight she carried, the strength under the sorrow, stirred something inside him. He saw a tribe on the brink of extinction. He saw a girl burdened with responsibility too massive for even her giant frame. And he saw a chance, maybe his only chance, to do something that mattered. He took a slow breath. "All right," he said. "Show me the way." Taya's expression softened. Relief washed across her features. She stepped forward and extended her hand, massive and steady. Colton placed his palm against one of her fingers, and for a moment, neither spoke. The silent agreement hung in the air like a vow. They traveled together through the canyon, Taya striding in long steps while Colton kept pace on horseback. She told him about the ancient tribe, born of legends, protectors of seeds that could bring life to barren lands. She spoke of how her people once thrived, giants among men, living in harmony with nature. But time and greed had taken their toll. The canyon's sacred seed was their last hope, its magic capable of restoring the land, reviving rivers, and giving life back to dying soil. As night fell, they made camp beneath a natural arch carved by centuries of wind. The stars above glittered like cold fire. "You're not afraid of me," Taya said as she watched the fire flicker. Colton shrugged. "Fear ain't the same as respect. And I got plenty of respect for someone who ain't crushed me yet." She let out a soft laugh. The sound was warm and surprising. After a pause, she spoke again. "My father was the last of our great chiefs. He protected the seed his whole life. When he died, the spirits chose me as guardian. But I failed. The outlaws came at night. I fought, but they trapped me between spirit wards. They escaped with the seed." The pain in her voice cut deeper than any blade. Colton stared into the flames. "Everyone fails someone," he said quietly. "What matters is what you do after." Her eyes met his. "Then let what we do next count." By dawn, they reached the stone labyrinth, a maze of towering rocks twisted like a giant's bones. Taya could go no farther. Her presence would alert the spirits. She knelt before Colton. "You walk alone now." He nodded. "I'll bring it back." She placed her fingertip against his chest, right over his heartbeat. "Your courage plants hope here," she whispered. Colton entered the labyrinth. Inside, the air grew colder, the walls tightening like a trap. The outlaws had camped in the center, thinking themselves safe in the maze. They were wrong. Colton moved like a shadow. Years of ranching had taught him silence. Years of running had taught him caution. He reached the heart of the labyrinth and found the seed, a glowing, crystalline orb pulsing with life, locked inside a metal chest guarded by 6 armed men. Colton's hand slid to his revolver. He didn't want bloodshed, but the outlaws wanted profit, and some men only listened to bullets. The fight was fast and violent. Dust rose. Gunshots echoed off stone. When the smoke cleared, 5 outlaws lay unconscious, wounded but alive. The 6th fled into the maze, screaming curses. Colton opened the chest. The seed pulsed like a heartbeat. He carried it back through the labyrinth, stumbling out into the daylight battered and dusty. Taya stood waiting, her eyes wide. "You did it," she whispered. He placed the seed in her palms. Her hands glowed. The markings on her skin flared bright gold. The ground trembled. Taya lifted the seed overhead and released a cry that shook the canyon. Light burst from her hands, streaming across the land like liquid sunlight. The dry earth cracked open. Green shoots surged upward. Flowers bloomed. Water spilled through once dry riverbeds. The entire canyon breathed again. Tears rolled down Taya's massive cheeks. Colton stepped back, amazed. "Well, I'll be damned." Taya knelt, lowering herself to him once more. "You planted hope in me," she said, voice trembling with gratitude. "And because of you, my people will live." Colton tipped his hat. "Just did what needed doing." But Taya shook her head. "No, you did what no one else dared." The canyon continued to bloom, colors exploding across the once barren land. Her people, giant Apache figures emerging from the cliffs, watched with awe as life returned to their home. Taya looked at Colton with a mix of strength and warmth. "You are forever part of our story now." Colton mounted his horse, ready to leave before pride tangled with emotion. "Reckon I should get going. Will you return?" she asked. He hesitated. "If the land calls, maybe." Taya smiled softly. "Then the land will call." And as Colton Hale rode toward the horizon, the canyon behind him shimmering with new life, he realized something he had not felt in years, maybe in his whole life.